Hello everyone, I'm back again to start putting the decals on the lower saucer section of the Enterprise refit, the Wrath of Khan refit, because those are the only 3 decals I have ready. I have number 30 ready, which will go here, and I have number 28 ready, which will go here. So what I want to do is cut them all out, lay them in their approximate position, and put on the 2 decals that are not touching each other first, and then finish off with the iridescent one. So I'll get the first 2 decals put in place, dry position, and we'll go from there. All right, so here are the 3 decals lined up. There's a good view of the Aztec pattern. I'm going to put on number 30 and 28 first before I put on 101, which is a replacement for 29. And we'll just see how it goes. And I'll be back with the first 2 put on, because they don't touch each other. And I already painted all the detail panels this morning. There we go. First one, that's decal number 28, is in place. You can see it here. Doesn't look too bad. It looks a bit more subtle against the ship, which is good. So I'm going to mark it on the guide, and we'll move on to decal number 30. Marked on the guide, decal number 28, as you can see. So now we put on decal number 30, and then we put on decal 101 from the A Creation Aztec set. So rotate the ship, leave this spot blank, and apply this one, which is this one, because the lighter blue comes from the A Creation as far as the backing paper. The darker blue comes from the Polar Lights decal set, specifically for this particular ship. And I already this morning darkened up the 4, only the 4 rectangular hatches, the small ones that I saw in the movie. So now they'll dark enough. I'm going to go empty the decal garbage container, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. Let's see if we can manage to put one on camera or not. And while I'm waiting for the decal film to loosen, I will take my microsol here and apply it to this decal, which is now dry. It will settle down over top of the phaser bump and everything, and you'll be able to apply the phaser decal over top of it. You should be able to. All right. So let's see if the backing paper got loosened up yet. That's why I expanded my working area, so it's not on top of the cutting mat. It's actually just on top of the towel. So is it releasing yet? Yeah, kind of. Re-soak. I'm not sure the water got warm enough. Alright, it'll take a couple more minutes. Actually, an unexpected bonus, it's actually sliding off from the side, which works out nicely as well. I mean, I can just slide it off and slide the decal paper out from underneath it this way, and then adjust its position to compensate. There we, a little more. Bring it up a bit. There you go, see? Then you just blot out the paper with the toilet paper. You blot out all the water to dry it as much as possible. And then you, and of course you have to get out any creases. So there you go, there you are. And then you just brush on the microsol this way. Now, of course, it partly occludes the hatch as well. This one. So you're going to have to trim out. You're going to have to trim out that part of the hatch. You're going to have to trim out this corner of the RCS thruster and that part of the phaser. But that is decal number 30 in place. So mark it on the guide, and we'll go from there. It's a pleasant surprise. It's not too harsh on the ship. You can still see some of the pattern faintly, but you can also see the pearlescent when it comes into view. So that's great. So now it's on to the middle one with the full iridescent, and we'll see the contrast. Okay, so 28 through 30 are on the ship, and here's how they look. Well, actually, it's a better view from the bottom, actually. There you go. So now I'm going to put it down and get some pictures all the way around it to see the dark and the light. You can see the dark in the distance here. Now, it's still darker against the hull. I don't think there's anything that can be done about that since those decals are painted. Remember, when I get to the Enterprise A and it has perhaps a gray hull like this, but with the decals lighter, that might make the difference. So I'll take the phone off its tripod and we'll get the pictures now, because that's all I can really do today, except for some detail painting on the top saucer and maybe some decal application here. All right, so it's time for pictures. We're going to take them with the light on first, and then we'll turn off the light so you can get the other pictures without the big ring light in place. And you can still make out the white navigation lights on the ship. It didn't have red and green after all. You can make out the white windows and you can make out the phaser, so that's good. That's what I wanted. So, time to turn off the overhead light and get the pictures. Now it's going to look dark, different. See, pearlescent, iridescent. There you go. There's the iridescent coloring. See there versus the pearlescent. Pearlescent is a 2-color thing. Iridescent is a 4-color thing. But I had to replace the decal, so I had to take that picture. But that's a good test of what the iridescent looked like in 1000 scale on the ship. And here comes the final angle. So I'm quite pleased with this lighter gray. It's darker than the Excelsior, but it's lighter than the Voyager. So let's just do a full circuit. There. You can barely see anything. And now, as you come up, you can see almost everything all at once. Beautiful. That is exactly what I was hoping for. The colored Aztec decals, the pearlescent effect, the iridescent effect. That's gorgeous. Look at it this way. All right, so now we let that settle and we detail paint the top of the saucer. According to the box, I can actually put on decal 48 even before I put on Aztecs because it's a raised decal. Same with these. But I got to find them first. Oh, and I did notice something. If the medium gray decal is too fine to be seen against the gray hull, I have the old uncolored set from A Creation decals that I can use. But I actually think, that's a bluish gray. This one's just a little darker. But I'm going to tend towards the Wrath of Khan ones first, before I turn to the other ones. However, look at this. Blue inboard lit, black and gray in board lid. So you do have these. And they are separate trench decals. So if I can't paint it, I can at least decal it. So that's something to look forward to. And I'm going to put that sheet aside for the time being. Here's the example. Wrath of Khan bluish gray, motion picture green. Now the pattern is nearly identical. That's not the problem. Well, it's not a problem in either case. And you can see how there is some bluish gray here for the bottom deflector, which isn't included in any other set. But I believe I have identified what I need to use for this ship. So give me a few moments and I will be back with the parts cut out. Now this is part 48 that is listed for the impulse housing. You see how blue it is. The interesting thing is there's the ones from A Creation Models. They're more of a greenish gray. And you can see also the bridge side windows are much more greenish gray than on the... So that's probably more for the Enterprise A actually. But let's check the 2009 Polar Light set. Here we are for the relevant pieces for the Polar Light set. So here's the Wrath of Khan one. There is the Polar Light set. You can see how it tends more towards green. However, this is darker, but it's not blue tinged. So I would say this is for the A, this is going to be for the Enterprise Wrath of Khan, and that's going to be for the motion picture. So I'm going to cut out the parts I need. Hopefully they're in the spare Aztec set, which is right here, because it'll make it a lot easier if I can use it from here. And look, I think we're in luck. I didn't use any of those pieces, so they should be present. The softer stripes too. That might be a factor. Because remember, the other set came with all the decals. But not the stripes. Look, no stripes. Oh yeah, there they are. A light gray. But I'm actually going to cannibalize from the Wrath of Khan. I mean the Star Trek V kit, not this one. Unless, of course, the Enterprise A only comes with one set of decals, in which case I can't cannibalize from them at all. So I will have to use the spare set that I just grabbed from the refit. But since that's green piping, I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to at all. But look, there's another set of gray stripes, so I will take a look at that, because I don't think there's a set with blue harsh stripes. I really don't. But I'm going to check. Be right back. I don't see impulse housing on here, except on the one that came with the kit. It's not on any of the ones that came with the A Creation Aztecs. The only thing we can use for it for that part is this one. And I'm going to check the polar lights again and see if we get anywhere. I don't mind cannibalizing from the Enterprise A because I've already built 2 of them. And you can see how there's several things to pick from in this bag alone. There is the Wrath of Khan, like Undiscovered Country, which are much more blue. There is a bluish green here. And there's the underside section for the front of the ship and the engine nacelles and everything. So that should work out nicely. So let me separate out everything and I'll be back. Looks like I missed something. That says Wrath of Khan. That says motion picture. Because There's the Enterprise A. Okay, got it. All right, so that is from the refit set. There's the Enterprise A. So one is more green, the A Creation set. The blue one that came from the kit, that's definitely for the A. And 48 on the Polar Light set, which is thankfully marked the same way as it would be on the other set, is obviously going to be for the, that's going to be the Wrath of Khan, the Polar Lights thing. Good. And, even better, you see this decal number 60? Well, it is accounted for here, called decal number 50. Alright, so I'm going to start cannibalizing from the Wrath of Khan. The gray Polar Lights kit. It's going to be the best one. And as far as the stripes, I will use the faded gray stripes with the windows inserted. Okay. Thankfully on Polar Lights it's a call out right there. Good. It might be near invisible against the darker gray, but I'm going to give it some pearlescent color before I apply it, so that will take care of everything. And cut out this, which can be applied right away. And again, use the more gray ring, not the more greenish blue ring. What I find interesting about the Polar Lights is they have the bluish gray faded secondary hull stuff of the Enterprise A. But look what they have here, the more greenish of the refit. So I'm going to have to mix and match from 3 different sets to get the Wrath of Khan refit correct. The grayish of every piece of trim. But it is nice to be using the Polar Lights decals again, just like I did 6 years ago on my 24th Century Enterprise refit. And I'm glad I have at least 2 sets of Aztec decals for each ship, plus leftovers from previous builds. But what I will do is I will give this piece its pearlescent colors, of which I only have 2, so it should work better. And let me see if I can check the Trek Modeler paint guide on my computer and figure out which colors go where. Well, the Trek Modeler paint guide was no help. It had it all gold, so I am going to create my own color scheme. Blue, red, green, gold. Blue, green, red, gold, or so. So there's the guide labeled with the colors I painted. Here is the actual decal with the colors on it. It's hard to see with the pearl, I guess. But at least it'll show up now. But you can't put any of these on because the paint's still wet. So the only thing I can do is, I guess, paint the RCS thrusters and everything, but that'll have to wait for another day because I think that's good enough for today. I've sorted out the parts I need, the trim colors I need so far, and we'll just go from there. So here's one last look at the Aztec coloring on the ship. Here's another look at it without the light on. And you see how it's nice and subtle. So that's good. It shows up, but it's subtle. And in some parts, it's almost invisible. The middle part, with the iridescent paint on it, is nearly invisible. But remember, that's from a different set. Whereas these parts show up much brighter. But remember, this is just a trail run. And if you're looking at the ship from underneath, that is what you see. There you go. Okay, so I'm happy. And we're just about at 20 minutes for today, so that's all for now. And I will come back tomorrow when I apply at least 2 of those 3 decals. Well, only the one, actually. The one that's been painted, because the other one needs the Aztec decals put down. And they need to be painted